Sometimes we forget why we're here. It's easy to fall off track. These help us remember.
These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Growing up, I had a dream, something no one else could see. Tell me what it means when your faith is falling beneath your knees and you can't breathe. Everything you see reminds you of what you're not or something you won't be. You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business. Not because they wanna do it, just because they heard it pays. And who the fuck wants to be poor knowing that's how we've been raised? Society is getting heavy, I can feel the weight. The pressure of success is like 100 million pounds of shame. And that's the reason I'm staying up late, trying to find a way to escape the stereotypes. This day and age is making me feel like the only way I'll be happy is getting signed to a label and making money through rapping. I wanna share my emotion because this world is attacking the very principle of life that lets the people be happy. If you don't have a reason to breathe, why even live? These battle scars are impressions of everything that it is.
Don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Now, if I had a voice that reached 100 million people, I'd tell them there's a reason that we're all created equal. Cause some decide to be great and some decide a sequel to an average person's life is simply what they want to be. So you make your decision, all I know is what I'm given won't define the life I lead or the way I dwell in existence. I've seen a greater image on the walls of where I'm living, and the words twisted and scripted remind me of something written. Faith is a gift that is given down to the people. If one believes it, one receives it. It's given if it is needed. Don't ever think you're trapped in a life that you never wanted. Your options are infinite, that's some mathematical logic. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers and these battle scars on my church. Not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers, these battle scars on my church.
Scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Whoa! What happened? Uh-oh. Something happened with my... Hold on one sec. Let's see if that fixed my camera. Every once in a while, my camera does that. I'm sorry. Woo! I should have. You know, I'm not... You guys have figured out by now, I'm not the best troubleshooter. It's like my pastor once said, when people said, I don't like organized religion, he said, don't worry, we're not that organized. I've got like food on my chin. I just scrambled from eating dinner, so sorry. Oh, that was something. I hate when that happens. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, I like panic. You saw the desk shaking and everything. All right. It's been a hot minute since I've seen you guys, huh? I see some of you guys are hardcore. You're here now from Massachusetts. Unfortunately, this one well, it depends on what side you're on, I suppose. For me, it's going to be very pleasant. But for some people, this is not going to be as pleasant as a show. And for the party in general, unfortunately, it's not going to be as pleasant of a show. Before we get to that, though, since I spent my last little intro time with my kind new sponsor, this time I'm going to do my personal grifting. Why not? I love grifting. In Subversive, I would love to hear about your exchange with Dr. Philly. So the grifting for today, I had let you guys know last time that I was down about $25 a month in patrons, as happens at the beginning of every month. people's financial situation changes. And oh my God, right after that just request to you guys, $20 new patrons came forward, like immediately. So now I am only down $5 from last month. Of course, there'll be a goal for this month. But to catch up to where I was last month, if you were thinking about becoming a patron, you could be my $5 hero to get us to us, the royal us, the we. You can get we. What am I saying? Us. Get me back to where I was in February, and then we can talk about an April goal. But thank you so much to the new patrons that stepped in. It happens each month. I really hate making these announcements because I don't want to make the people who had to drop away feel bad, because life happens. And also remember, please continue to support my campaign if you can. All of the travel has been paid for. All of my donors can get a campaign accountability spreadsheet to see exactly how I spend my money. What I'm raising money for now is Reno materials, signs, literature, some surprises that I can't tell you guys, but you'll know when you see them, and a mailer. So that is what money is going towards now. So all super chats, and all super chats matter, do go to my campaign. And the and thank you very much, everyone. Got distracted there for a second. Look, a bird. Go to my campaign. So I'm hoping by the end of this month to have the money raised for a mailer, because if you don't know, delegate lists get turned into national a month before convention. Of course, there's been some dispute. Right? Libertarians never argue about anything. There's been some dispute as to what a month means, since our bylaws don't say a certain number. I want to put up what Subversive says. Our bylaws don't say what a month is. Is it 31 days? Is it 28 days? Is it 30 days? And thank you, Paul. But I love what Subversive said. I get the GoFundMe updates and just assume it's above board because you'd be too autistically obsessed to hide money. So true. If you asked me for the spreadsheet, which I would send you, you would say, "Oh my God, this woman is autistically obsessed." And you would also know, because you've ran public office campaigns, that I'm not charging everything to the campaign. Like, for instance, when I'm out, I don't charge most of the Ubers. I take way more Ubers than I charge to the campaign, and I don't usually count meals because I'm like, I've got to eat no matter where I'm at, So, and I am cheap as hell. Like, let me tell you, I've stayed in the sketchiest Airbnbs, I think, on the planet, because I am cheap as hell. And you guys know, when it starts coming up to conventions I'm going to, I'm like, do you have a couch? Do you have a dog house? I'll stay in the dog house, because when it comes to other people's money, I am cheap. I make each penny scream. So, and I do hold myself fully transparent and accountable when I'm asking other people for money. Definitely do not splurge. So if you can continue to support my campaign, I know I've been asking a lot. I know it's been a long, long haul. It is ungodly expensive to run an LNC officer campaign. It really is, particularly with gas prices, because airline tickets have gone through the roof. And the last thing is, I would love to see you guys wearing a decent convention logo t-shirt in Reno, instead of that god-awful Phantom of the Opera abomination that was foisted upon us fraudulently by the Convention Oversight Committee. And I say fraudulently because although I agree with the message they put behind it, the message they put behind it is it's liberty unmasked, because people who are gay and have other lifestyles have been living in the closet, and now they get to be unmasked when they're free. I agree with that sentiment, but that is not what people voted for. When they voted for Liberty Unmasked They were talking about COVID lockdowns. Stop lying, Pinocchio. I don't mind a convention theme that is about people living their authentic selves. As I have said before, I am a member of the LGBT community myself. But that is not what people voted for. And to foist that on them, that was fraud. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. So, an independent designer came up with an actual logo that reflected the actual intent that people paid for. And he graciously gave me permission to put it on my store. And I split all proceeds with this designer. So, if you go to tinyurl.com /pink flame merch, there's all kinds of great merchandise there. Feel free to buy any of it. But the Liberty Unmasked shirt is there. It has nothing about my campaign on it because that shirt really isn't about my campaign. It's about having a decent logo for this convention. And I would like the Convention Oversight Committee to be sent a strong message by seeing people walking around with a logo that reflects the actual intent of the delegates. Oh, James, I'd love to see a picture of you with it. If you could send it to me, it'd be a great ad. And let me tell you, the designer was so grateful when out of the blue, I sent him his half of the proceeds so far. Because it wasn't anything he expected. He gave me permission to use it and didn't ask me for a damn thing. But I was like, you want to know what? I support independent creators. And he did us all a huge service. So half of all proceeds go to him. The rest go to support my campaign. So please do get those shirts. It will send a message. And I'm going to start making buttons and things like that to give out at the convention. And can we get it with a customized mask? I don't think Teespring makes masks. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. That'd be funny. I'll take a look. I do. People have asked me to make sure it was on a tank top, and I did that. So I will look at special requests. The buttons I make myself. So I'm going to be designing those and have those to give out at convention, or I can mail some to people ahead of time. No charge on that. Whoops. Buttons are things I just love making. And I have my own button machine. Oh, well, let me put this up here. This is some juicy gossip. I'm going to have you on the show, Justin. Justin O'Donnell says, Dr. Phillies and Sarwark have been funding a secret slate of candidates planning to petition away the LP line away from the party, but they forgot to file disclosures or start petitioning on time. In New Hampshire, he added. Put this here. Oopsie. They are such slimy people. Philly sometimes has some good lines, though. We're gonna give Philly some credit tonight. I don't have any credit to give to Sarwark, but when George Phillies is right, he's right. He's usually wrong, but when he's right, he is right. And you know me, I don't have to like somebody, and I don't have to think they're right 99.99% of the time, but when they say something right, I'll give them credit, just like I do with the LNC members I don't care for. But tonight, what we're talking about is Massachusetts, and George Phillies is in Massachusetts, so it does have some relevance, and so does New Hampshire. Who's Dr. Phillies? James Gentleman. Dr. Phillies is a long time Libertarian Party member. He used to be chair of Massachusetts. He's a big donor. And isn't he an anesthesiologist? Because he sure puts us to sleep. And the porcupine mascot was named after him. The unofficial name of the porcupine mascot is George Quillies. Just so you know. Which I think is adorable, unlike George. And a former presidential candidate who was in favor of closed borders. Let's continue. Massachusetts. I'm wondering if Chuck Moulton's going to show up for this one. So Massachusetts, the first appeal got filed today. And I say first appeal because everyone knows damn well that there's probably going to be multiple appeals. They're not guaranteed. But the first one obviously was. So the first appeal was filed today. We are going to read it aloud here. We're going to go over it. And I want to remind you guys, plus I also want to rub it into George Phillies, that how long did it take him to get signatures for his appeal that got thrown out by the JC? A couple months? We got way more signatures than we needed in 15 hours. And we are still collecting signatures because you can't have too many. We have enough to file the appeal, but if we got 10,000 signatures, we'd file them all. So please, if you would like to sign on to the Massachusetts appeals, get in touch with me. And I will get you the links to DocuSign it. It's HelloSign, I think, but you know what I mean, to electronically sign it. But it was submitted today with 242 signatures. We'll explain where we came up with the certain numbers we came up with. But let's just go over the appeal, shall we? But what I found funny is Tara DeSisto was shooting off her mouth yesterday, threatening to sick the state on people like the statist that she is, by saying she sent cease and desist letters. No attorney's going to touch this with a 10-foot pole while it's being, quote-unquote, litigated within the party, Miss DeSisto. Good luck with your cease and desist letters. And as a paralegal, I know cease and desist letters are just attorneys blowing off. Worry about it when you get a lawsuit. Other than that, throw that shit in the garbage, because it ain't worth the paper it's printed on. Anyone can write a cease and desist letter. This is my cease and desist to you, Tara DeSisto. Stop being... a statist something or other. Stop being a statist tyrant. Cease and desist being a statist tyrant, Tara DeSisto. And in a way, I would... Listen, I don't want to welcome a lawsuit on behalf of Massachusetts. I cannot speak for them. But me personally, I've already said, you guys get sued, I will volunteer as much paralegal time as I can and I'm qualified to do to help defend you. And it will not cost you a dime from me. I will volunteer as much as I can. I've never worked in Massachusetts before, so, I'm not up to date with Massachusetts code and things like that, but that doesn't mean there isn't things that I can't do. And speaking for myself, not for Massachusetts, I welcome discovery, baby. Tara, I've got a lot of questions for you, sweetheart. Go ahead. Make my day. But let's go over the appeal, because I think you're going to stop getting threats from Tara DeSisto now that she got a letter of her own. I don't know if the appeal's been forwarded to them yet. I would assume it has been. I would assume it's been forwarded to the LNC. But guess who hasn't told the LNC? Chair Whitney Bilyeu hasn't bothered to tell the LNC. Now, I am assuming she knows. I could be assuming wrong. But I am assuming the JC promptly forwarded this appeal to the LNC. But unless they're doing it on the secret list, which I also wouldn't be surprised, someone hasn't told the LNC yet. So hi, Richard, because I know you watch my broadcast and I'm going to be talking about you later. So stay tuned, because I know you want to hear everything I have to say about you. You get to see the appeal here. So I should have had it pulled up already, shouldn't I? I don't claim to be a professional broadcaster, and I don't even play one on YouTube. I did have one thing pulled up, and I forgot that I wanted to go over the appeal. Derpity derpity derp. You want to know what's the saddest thing that happened when I asked people to sign the petition? I cannot tell you how many times people asked me, both publicly and privately, am I going to get expelled from the National Party if I sign this appeal? This is the culture of fear we now have in this party. No, there's no expulsion provisions in the National Party. So no, you're not going to get expelled from the National Party. Can't speak for Massachusetts because, well, the real party you won't get expelled from, but you might get expelled from the fake party. I can't make no promises there. But believe me, if the National Party could have expelled people, they would have expelled me a long time ago. All right, let me download the appeal here. And let me pull it up in downloads. Why isn't it showing up in downloads? You tell me. Let me look under recents. My Mac has been acting really weird lately, and no wise ass Mac comments, please. Okay, show and finder. Let's do it that way. Okay, I'm pulling up the appeal. Now I'm going to maximize. And now my frickin' eyes are just... Let me see if I can make it bigger for me to see. Okay, now let me share my screen. I've got a little thing here for... Let me see if this works. Does this work? Yay! Look at my little button worked. We are going to go over it here. Before the Judicial Committee of the Libertarian Party. Petitioners. Andrew Cordio as chair of the Libertarian Association of Massachusetts, representing a constructively disaffiliated affiliate, and thereby allowed an automatic appeal as per Libertarian Party National Bylaws, Article 5.6, and members comprising at least 1% of the National Libertarian Party sustaining members, as allowed by Libertarian Party Bylaws, Article 7.12. I want to explain this to you. I do believe, and so as far as I'm aware, I don't want to speak for everybody, the legitimate board of LAMA, I believe we all are of one mind that they are entitled to an automatic appeal, that they've been constructively disaffiliated. We realize, however, though, that perhaps the JC will not agree with that. So we wanted to be sure, unlike George Phillies, that our appeal, their appeal, I kind of take ownership of it just because, like, I feel like I've taken them under my wing, but this is their appeal. I'll do everything I can to help them, but this is their appeal. It was felt that no chances could be taken. So it was filed under 2 articles. The automatic appeal, but if that gets rejected, it was also filed as a member appeal. Members can appeal 2 different ways. It can either be 10% of the credentialed delegates at the last convention, and that seems really clear until you try to figure out what that means. That is very ambiguous. Does it mean 10% of all of those who were ever credentialed, meaning seated, which is more than the 1,042 allowed because delegates leave and alternates sit? Or does it mean 1,042 of those originally sat? Like, the number was such a moving target. But the highest number it could have been is 10% of 1,657, which is the number of delegates and alternates that were on the official list. 10% of that would be 166 or thereabouts. But the lower number would have been 141. So somewhere between 141 and 166 out of a pool of 1,657, or 1% of the National Libertarian Party's sustaining members, which at the last official report was 16,650, with 1% being 167. So for just about the same amount, we could choose from a pool of 1,657 or a pool of 16,650. Which one do you think we went with? Obviously, the larger pool. So the minimum number of signatures we needed was about 170. But we're treating it like a ballot access petition and figuring a 70% validity rate. So we got way more than we needed, and we're going to continue to supplement it. So please continue to sign, because we will continue to send signatures. I would be happy as a clam at high tide if we sent in thousands of signatures. So please continue to sign. Get in touch. It's easy to do. All right, so that explains the petitioners. Interested parties, because you're required to say who the interested parties are. So, any persons claiming to be current members of the leadership of LAMA or the LP of Massachusetts or LAMA, including the following state committee, elected at a specially called convention concluding on February 26, 2022. And there are all of the names. These are the legitimate board of LAMA. And the former state committee prior to the above election, though they are refusing to vacate their seats. And there are those names there. And, you know, Ashley, Chris, Derek, so on and so forth. All right. Derek, email me and I will get you the link. Email me at pinkflameofliberty@gmail.com. And I will send you the link. There's a little explanatory letter that goes with the link that we have to send. So email me and I will get it to you. And thank you very much for being willing to sign. Relief requested. Okay. This first appeal has to do with Whitney Bilyeu's completely illegitimate ruling out of order the resolution put forth by Rich Bowen, and the completely illegitimate sustaining of the ruling of the chair by the LNC. And they pretty much admitted that they did it in defiance of the JC's decision in Delaware. They know damn well that it was in order. They just don't agree with the JC. So they basically are dropping their drawers and mooning the JC. That's what they're doing. So this first appeal is just to get them to hear the resolution, not even to get them yet to decide in favor of Massachusetts. Obviously, we want them to decide in favor of the legitimate board, but we're not even at that point yet. These cowards are refusing to even hear the evidence. That is what is so shameful here. What we should be discussing here is an appeal of their actual decision, but these elected cowards won't even make a decision. That is what is so gross here. So here's the relief requested. That the LNC hear and decide on the matter of the resolution submitted by Rich Bowen and co-sponsored by Susan Hogarth, Ken Molman, Stephen Nikala, Joshua Smith, and Eric Raudsep, as put forth below and supported by the Notice of Filing Exhibit 1, which was filed separately and can be found here. There's a link. We're not going to go through the whole timeline. It's 70 pages long. It's not just a timeline. It's a timeline with supporting documents for everything. It lays out the case in meticulous detail. You guys could get this link off of the screen here. It's tinyurl.com/MA, all caps MA, capital M, capital A, dash, capital E, exhibit, dash 1, dash, capital T timeline, or email me. And I'll get you the link so that you can read the timeline. It's also up on Lpedia, by the way. And it is also on the LNC list. And if you email me, I can get you hard copies of anything you'd like here. The committee, whoops, I went too fast. And we have to let them know why we think they have jurisdiction. So we named the bylaws that they have jurisdiction under. And this was entitled an emergency petition for appeal because, the convention's coming up. This appeal here, God, why is my screen going so fast? Is pretty short because all we're doing is asking them to look at the evidence. It's ridiculous that we have to appeal this. Like, please, dear sir, will you please listen to the peasants? So, emergency petition for appeal. Procedural background and grounds for emergency expedited hearing. I'm not going to read it all in full. We're going to summarize quite a good deal of it, but we're going to read a lot of it in full. On January 23rd, the LNC held an electronic meeting to hear issues surrounding an impending controversy regarding the leadership of Llama. And that's where this wonderful clip came from. Oh, I don't have the clip. Hold on.
Objection, speculative.
That will never get old. That will never get old. And there's the link, but you can also find it on the official Libertarian Party website. You could also find it on Lpedia. You could also find it on the YouTube channel of the Libertarian Party Historical Preservation Committee. Since no specific motions were noticed, Joshua Smith called for an electronic meeting to take place on February 6, 2022, to take up this issue in the form of the following motion. We're not going to read the motion, but he did properly notice it. Basically asking for the tyrants to be spanked. And thank you, Paul Lynch, for the super chats. And where you all could read that in the petition yourself. But that's basically what it was asking for. But let's continue. Shit, why is this going so fast? I'm so sorry.
Objection, speculative.
Okay, I'm having problems here. I am having problems here. Stop it. Let me go slow. Let me go slow. Let me go slow. Let's continue. Why did it skip? Did I not download it properly? I think I might not have downloaded it properly. We might need to look at it on the website because I think I didn't download it properly. There's page 2. See, it skips from 2 to 7. I fucked something up, I think, in my download. Okay, let me try doing page down. I am so sorry. Tools, show inspector, no, window. No, I don't want show inspector. I want to show the little thumbnails. How do I do that? Window. You guys, help me. Help me out here. Where's my page down button? Here we go. Here we go. Okay. For some reason, when it's in full screen, it doesn't want to scroll properly. And now it's on double. We're just going to have to deal with it, okay? We're just going to have to deal with it. Just run Fishman when technical issues occur.
Objection, speculative.
Okay. On January 30th, Erin Adams started a motion. She did this motion in good faith, but she didn't do it thinking through it. Joshua already set a hearing. Why the hell did she start a motion in the middle of the time period before the hearing? Because all it did was give the LNC excuse to cancel Joshua's Joshua's meeting. And her motion differed considerably from what was asked for. I mean, we would have taken it, but she wanted it to be decided only by the convention. It was improper. Okay. It was a bad motion. And the motion failed by a vote of 5-10 to 0-2. And it really just was not that good of a motion. It was better than nothing, but it was not a good motion. But she did it in good faith. You can do bad motions in good faith. Okay. But it was a bad motion. Okay. That gave the LNC. Yeah, Brody, I want to know why she voted to sustain Whitney's ruling too, since she did a motion herself. That was just completely incomprehensible to me. It wouldn't have made a difference in the vote, though maybe it would have. She might have swayed other people. Okay, so that gave the LNC excuse to cancel Joshua's meeting. which you can do by a majority vote. So the better motion, the Smith-Bowen motion, was never heard. Okay? Get where we're at so far? On March 23rd, a new resolution, which we will call the Bowen Forward Resolution, was moved by Rich Bowen and fully sponsored the same day by Bowen, Hogarth, Molman, Nikala, Smith, and Rodsep. Notice Adams didn't sponsor it. And it laid out everything. And we, I think, are going to read this motion in full. But I don't want it to be full screen like this. Hold on one second. Let me remove myself from the screen so you don't see me like pulling my blind ass all the way up to the screen to read it. Where am I at here? Hold on. Okay, there I am. Let me remove me from the screen. Okay, I removed me from the screen. Now let me pull this up. Now you won't see my blind ass moving up to the screen here. Let me move my microphone up though. Okay, resolution to recognize the rightful state committee of Llama. Whereas on December 19th, 2021, Llama membership submitted a petition for special convention to conduct a recall election of the Llama State Committee. And by the way, for those of you listening who don't know the whole story, this resolution will give you the whole story. Now, you might want to see some supporting documentation. That's all in that timeline I linked to. But if you want a concise version of the whole story, here we go. Whereas the petition contained greater than the 10% of valid member signatures required for a special convention in accordance with Article 2, Section 5 of the Llama Constitution, which reads as follows. If 10% or 500, whichever is less, of the current dues-paying membership signs a petition requesting a special state convention and mails or presents the petition papers to the state committee, the state committee must, please recognize the word must there, organize a state convention to be held between 30 and 60 days of the date of delivery of the petition to the state committee. Whereas the petition was submitted with an agenda as required by the following constitutional provision, which reads, the petition shall specify the agenda of the special state convention, and the state committee may, by a majority of vote, append items to the end of that agenda, but may not otherwise change the agenda. All the documentation that this was properly submitted is in the timeline. Whereas, on January 10th, 2022, the response from the state committee to the properly constituted petition was to expel en masse all petition signatories in violation of basic member rights, due process, and Article 1, Section 3 of the Llama bylaws, which allow for expulsion of, quote, a person from membership, open paren, not mass expulsions. And it reads as follows. The state committee may, for cause, and signing a petition that you have every right to do under the Constitution is not cause. I shouldn't have to explain that to libertarians. By 2/3 secret ballot vote of the entire state committee, expel a person from membership in the Libertarian Association of Massachusetts. An expelled person must receive a 2/3 secret ballot favorable vote from the state committee to rejoin. Whereas the vote to expel Llama members was taken during a supposed state committee meeting that had no agenda, thus denying targeted members notice of any proposed action against them and an opportunity to defend themselves, and the meeting was called in order in closed section against longstanding custom, open paren, their parliamentary authority does not address the topic at all, the topic meaning secret session, and contrary to the public notice given, whereas among the wrongfully expelled were 2 state committee members who were denied any access to due process in violation of Article 4, Section 10 of the Llama Constitution. The state committee may, by 2/3 vote of its entire membership, expel a person from the state committee for cause after affording the accused reasonable access to due process. Whereas a member of that state committee who has not been a resident of Massachusetts for close to a year cast their vote for the expulsion in violation of Article 4, Section 8, Article 1, Section 1 of the Llama Constitution. So one of the people that voted wasn't even a legal member of the party, because you have to live there, and I'm not going to read the the provisions. You can read that yourself. Whereas 2 duly elected members of the 2021 Llama State Committee did organize and conduct the special convention as is required by Article 2, Section 5 of the Llama Constitution, and provided notice to the extent possible, given deliberate obstructive actions and omissions by former state committee members. Whereas a new state committee was elected at that special convention on February 26, 2022, in accordance with Llama Bylaws Article 2 and the Llama Constitution Article 2, and as specified on the submitted agenda with the positions now filled as follows, and it lists them. Whereas the newly elected state committee has set and noticed their annual convention for April 24th, 2022, at which time the state committee for the next term and national convention delegates will be elected. Note, this newly elected state committee is not trying to hold on to their power. They realize they may be in those positions for only 2 months. They immediately set an annual convention as they're required to do, because unlike the scaredy cats of the Death Spiral 7, they're not scared of the membership. Be it therefore resolved that the Libertarian National Committee recognizes the results of the election at the special convention and the state committee elected therein. So that is the motion that they are refusing to even hear. And it continues, please note that an extensive timeline was submitted along with the Bowen Ford resolution to support the contentions made, filed separately in the notice of filing Exhibit 1, and can be found here. That same link I gave you a few minutes ago. Next page. On March 23rd, John Phillips raised a point of order claiming that the motion was in violation of the bylaws of the National Libertarian Party, without specifying a particular bylaw, but rather just vague inferences about autonomy and interference. Contrary to the long-standing custom of the LNC, remember what they did with their motion to expel me after I raised a point of order. Richard got all pissy, didn't he, when I said the motion should be paused while the point of order was being heard. He said, no, the ballot must go on. But he was awfully silent here, wasn't he? Contrary to the long-standing custom of the LNC, in which fully sponsored email ballots proceed onward, pending a ruling of the chair so that time is not wasted and the clock run out, no ballot was ever started in this matter. On March 24th, the chair ruled that the Bowen Ford resolution was out of order as violating Article 5.5 of the bylaws of the National Libertarian Party, which was appealed by Joshua Smith, for which ballot number blah, blah, blah was opened to determine whether or not to sustain the ruling of the chair. That ballot ended on April Fool's Day, appropriately enough, with the chair's ruling being sustained with a vote count of 9 to 7 to 1, thus leading to this appeal of that decision. Considering that issues of delegate selection and other convention activities hinge upon the recognition of the rightful chair of the affiliate so that the LNC and credentialing can proceed, it is imperative that any and all delays, intentional or not, cease, and this matter be disposed of with all due haste. Now, section number 2, precedent. The Judicial Committee recently made a decision in the case of the Delaware affiliate, which is directly on point in this matter. In the Delaware matter, the Judicial Committee found that determination of the rightful chair of an affiliate in the event of a dispute, if such determination was clear and possible, was not an abridgment of the autonomy of an affiliate. It was, in fact, an absolutely necessary task for the LNC to undertake in order to fulfill both its duties and honor the autonomous decisions of an affiliate. Once the LNC is made aware of a credible dispute that has at least some indicia of good faith basis, it has an undeniable duty to its affiliate and to the party at large to undertake such an exercise. With the facts before the LNC right now, there are 2 entities, both claiming to be the legitimate Libertarian Association of Massachusetts with 2 different sets of leadership. The LNC has an absolute duty to at least attempt to determine which of them, if any, is correct in order to properly credential delegates at the upcoming convention at a bare minimum, and that such a determination is not in violation of the bylaws of the National Libertarian Party. Section 3. Prima facie evidence that there is a legitimate dispute that must be heard by the LNC and that is within their jurisdiction. The assertions laid out in the Bowen Ford resolution, along with the supporting timeline and documentation also attached hereto, give at least a reasonable basis to support that there is a legitimate dispute that needs to be examined by the LNC to determine if it is possible to come to a clear conclusion about the identity and leadership of its Massachusetts affiliate. Number 3, undeniable jurisdiction. If the LNC is continuing to recognize the incorrect affiliate and leadership by its refusal to examine the facts at hand, there is a constructive disaffiliation of the Massachusetts affiliate, and it would be entitled to an automatic appeal. The petitioners believe that is the case here. However, in the abundance of caution, the requisite numbers of signatures of the national sustaining members are also affixed hereto in joinder as an appeal of the decision of the LNC by the membership. The sustainment of a ruling of the chair is a decision of the LNC as defined by RO and R16. The actions of the LNC contravene its duties under the bylaws to recognize its affiliate, which require it to interface with its proper leadership as detailed in this Judicial Committee's decision in the recent Delaware appeal. Impacted bylaws include the entirety of Section 5. If the LNC is giving data, services, directing potential members, directing potential donors, and recognizing lists of delegates submitted by any other than the rightful leadership, it is violating its own duties to its affiliate under the National Libertarian Party bylaws. Lastly, requested ruling and relief. That the sustainment of the ruling of the chair on April 1st, 2022, you know what I'm saying, was improper, and that the motion put forth by Region 8 Representative Rich Bowen, as noted above, is in order and must be heard immediately by the Libertarian National Committee at an electronic meeting to be heard within 7 days of an order of the Judicial Committee or via an electronic email ballot to be started within 2 days of an order of the Judicial Committee. So that is the appeal. Let me go back to my screen here. If anyone has any questions on that, if I went a little too fast, I didn't want to bore you all to death, let me know if that was unclear at all, and I will explain any part of it. Now, the reason I said there might be multiple appeals is if this appeal is won, and I think it very clearly should be won, there's going to be another appeal no matter what their decision is on the Bowen Ford resolution. If the rightful affiliate, the ones represented by the Massachusetts 47 wins, then the disgruntled Death Spiral 7 will probably appeal. I don't know, they're kind of lazy. They might not. They also haven't proven themselves to be terribly smart. But they probably will appeal. It might not be a good appeal, but they'll appeal. And if the LNC is its typical cowardly selves, except for the good ones, maybe they will find a backbone. I pray that they find a backbone. And they do the right thing and redeem themselves at the last possible minute before Reno, which is the best possible thing they could do. I think I got that backwards. Either way, no matter which side prevails, there's going to be another appeal, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So the LNC, this LNC was already the most appealed LNC in the history of this party. Now, they are by far the most appealed LNC in the history of this party. You want to know something? They were right about something. They said they couldn't get anything done with that mouthy pink-haired secretary there. You want to know what they couldn't get done? Make enough shitty decisions to be the most appealed LNC in the history of the party. You were right. You couldn't do that with me there. That deserves cheers.
Objection, speculative.
Okay. but wait, there's more. This is like ShamWow. I'm not trying to sell you anything, but wait, there's more. So that was the appeal. And as I said, with my appeal, and now our watch begins. This appeal should be an easy win. But my appeal should have been an easy win too. Ultimately, this is going to go before the delegates at Reno, and I trust the delegates at Reno. The delegates at Reno, Mises, non-Mises, neutral, know that it is wrong, disgusting, and anti-libertarian to expel 47 people out of a party simply for signing a petition that they had every right to do under their own constitution. Anyone who thinks that is proper action is not a libertarian. And I rarely say that. But this is so clear. Now, perhaps there might be people who think that some of them deserve to be expelled one by one. I think you're wrong, but at least then you would be following somewhat a proper procedure. But no libertarian agrees, can possibly agree that a secret meeting without notice or agenda, that's just a mass expulsion of people because of who their friends might be, is not libertarian. Is absolutely disgusting. And here is the fact, Richard, because I know you're still watching. None of this would have happened but for the railroad job that the LNC did to me, which is one reason why I'm so passionate about this. It's not my fault, Massachusetts, but I'm sorry. I am sorry that what happened to me led to this happening to you. I know I'm not responsible, but it is a direct result. And that's one reason, well, I would feel burdened to help you anyway. But if you're wondering why it's such a burning burden, is because I know what happened to you is a waterfall from what happened to me. And I am hoping this pricks the conscience of some of those on the JC that made the wrong decision with me. You can't change what you did with me. The delegates are going to put me back in my rightful place. But you can make it up. You can make a wrong right by doing the right thing by Massachusetts. It's too late to make it up to me. But you want to know what? I'll consider it made up to me if you do the right thing by Massachusetts. Please. But let's go on to, but there's more. One day we're going to go over that absolutely hilarious Libertarian Defense Fund letter by Ahmad Sarwark. But there's just something too rich here. I'll bring this up again then, but I need to bring it up again now. Because we all know that Ahmad Sarwark is behind a lot of this. So let's pull up a couple things. Where's my overlay screen? Okay, hold on. I need to find the right comments. Okay. Remember that Nick's accusation against the Mises Caucus was that they really didn't want to run libertarians. They just wanted to secretly support Republicans, and it was this grand conspiracy, and we need to run libertarian, which I don't agree with the grand conspiracy and all of that, but I agree, we need to run libertarians.
Objection, speculative.
But it's funny that it's okay when his side does it, because check this out. Chris Crawford in being challenged as to why they are having a current Republican Senate candidate from New Hampshire as their featured speaker at their convention. This is what she said. Well, he's not trying to deliberately ruin the party. Okay, yeah, the Republican has the best interests of the Libertarian Party at heart, I am sure. Anyone who isn't delusional, well, I don't think you're the best judge of that, Chris Crawford.
Objection, speculative.
Anyone who isn't delusion should understand that if you want to actually get elected to the U.S. Senate in New Hampshire, you're not going to run as a Libertarian. So an alleged state committee member of the Massachusetts alleged affiliate is telling people in New Hampshire not to run as Libertarians. Do you think that's going to be in Ask Mad Sarwark's next Libertarian defense letter? Or is he going to omit that fact? This almost sounds to me, it's arguable. I'm not going to say it's a slam dunk, but I'm also going to say a very reasonable interpretation of her comment, particularly if you look at the whole discussion, is that she's endorsing this Republican for office in New Hampshire against a Libertarian candidate, which is forbidden by the national bylaws to do. I know. I'll say it for you, Fishy Man.
Objection, speculative.
So, Nick, how are you going to explain this one? Is Chris Crawford now just a Republican operative? She's doing exactly, openly, what you claimed the Mises Caucus was doing. Rules for me, but not for thee. And I have a song to dedicate to you, Nick.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God, stop you fucking lying.
Okay. But there's more. But wait, there's more. Okay. Let me find my next screenshot. Here's where listen, when George Phillies is right, he's right. Okay, I wanted to make sure I had the right screenshot. Here we go. Let me move. I got to move this way. Oh, George, you're crowding me out. George Phillies. Chris Crawford. Thank you for attacking everyone who runs for U.S. Senate as a Libertarian. He's right. You have just shown you are completely unfit to be on a Libertarian state committee. Not that your convention running efforts and the ego trip on your part didn't already show it. Boom! I need a mic to drop. I didn't buy a shitty mic yet to drop. Come on, I gotta have a shitty mic in here somewhere. This isn't a shitty mic, but I'm dropping it anyway. Damn! Phillies, when you're right, you're right. Told you. I'm having too much fun with my sound effects tonight. All right, let's. I think I got more for you. I do, but wait, there's more. Let me find the next one. Mama has receipts. You know Mama and her receipts. Okay. Now Nick supposedly is so about defending the Libertarian Party from outside parties, and he just loves the Libertarian Party so much that he does this. He loves a comment in which Steve Sheets is starting a competing political party. Do you think that's going to be in the next Libertarian defense letter? I don't think so, do you? My God, the hypocrisy. And Steve Sheets doesn't even have the integrity to resign as chair of the bylaws committee. If you're starting a competing political party, you shouldn't have any say in the governing documents of the political party you're trying to defeat. Now, you want to know what? I'm just leaving that alone. Like, I mention it, and then I'm leaving it alone, because from what I've heard, and I could be wrong, most of the bylaws proposals are hot messes, and I want them to fail. So having a guy up there presenting them that started another political party is probably the best way to ensure that they fail. But my God, have the integrity, Steve. If you're going to start another political party, resign your positions from the Libertarian Party. My God. At one point in time, Darryl Perry started a rival political party. This was a long time ago, way before he went crazy with Jackie. And he resigned all of his positions from the Libertarian Party, including his life membership. Because that's back when Darryl had integrity. So did Tom Knapp, who joined Darryl in the Boston Tea Party, which was the new party they started. Tom Knapp resigned his lifetime membership. Because that's what you do when you have integrity and you're starting a new political party. And Nick Sarwark likes that. I really doubt that will be in the next Libertarian Defense Caucus letter. I think that might be the only screenshot. I don't think I have any more screenshots. I think that's it for the screenshots, but let me double check. Let me just see here. I think that was it. That's enough, but yeah, that's it. Okay. So that is what is going on with Massachusetts. So what we are waiting on now is a hearing date from the JC. Nothing is a sure thing. I think it should be, but I also thought mine should be. I think my JC decision was bullshit. I've made no bones about it. But I think the JC decision in Delaware was fantastic. So there's hope. And Vermin Supreme should recuse himself because he's already given an opinion on this. Unfortunately, Roberts does not require recusal. Principles do. But then again, principles kind of would require that you're not the bylaws chair of a competing political party. But hey, that's just me. Me and those pesky principles. I wonder if the rest of the bylaws committee knows this. Because most of the rest of the bylaws committee are principled. And perhaps they will be like, maybe that's not who we want cheering us. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Liberty, is it possible to remove a JC member? No. And even if it were, understandably, because of my traumatic experiences, I'm not a big fan of removal. I know Chris Lucchini doesn't believe me, but there have been multiple aborted attempts to remove him. And guess who has opposed it every single time? He wouldn't show me that courtesy. But I have been opposed to it. I'm not a big fan of removals. I'm not a big fan of expulsions. I think you need to learn to just elect better people or deal with difficult people, and the truly, truly bad actors, which are few, will self-yeet from the party. Not a big fan of removals. There are certain times it's necessary, but it's very rare. Let me give you the classic example. You find out the treasurer is stealing from the party. Okay, then I'd be in favor of removal. But very rare at this point. And yes, I have changed my mind due to personal experience. That's what maturity does to people. If you don't change from your life experiences, then there's something wrong with you. So to point out that I might have said something different 5 years ago, congratulations, Sherlock Holmes. I was a different person 5 years ago. I change. And I certainly changed on that, but I've never been in favor of expulsions, by the way. My record on that is pretty clear. You can go read the LNC list when people were trying to expel Mr. Undoubtedly a bad character, that dude from Virginia, well, Nathan Larson, because we don't have an expulsion provision in the national bylaws, and the LNC isn't allowed to expel people. So my record on that is pretty damn clear. Somebody asked earlier, can the convention expel somebody from the party? JJ, I'd love to know your opinion on that. The bylaws do not provide for expulsion. I used to at one time say yes, the convention could expel somebody from the party. Not so sure I believe that anymore. And JJ, if you're still listening, I would love to hear your opinion on that. I'll ask you another day if you're not here. I'd love to hear Richard Brown's opinion on that as well. I'm not so sure the convention can expel somebody from the party. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I used to say yes. Okay, I'm going to check through comments to make sure. Yes, the convention, based on what provision? And okay, I am a sick puppy. This is Mike's copy, but I do have the holy word right here. What provision? What provision? What provision? Cite me chapter and verse. I would think the bylaws would have to provide for it. JJ, you are turning me into a true Roberts heretic. I think I'm going to write a competing book. But okay, the parliamentarian who knows more than I do says yes, the convention can expel somebody. I don't agree with that. But he knows way more than I do, so I'd believe him before I'd believe me. Alrighty, let me go see if there's any questions I missed. And Bill Cox, yeah, that's a good point here. I want to pull this up. I hope you show up to when I deal with Asmad Sarwark's Libertarian defense letter, where he just basically lies about Mises-controlled states not running candidates. Colorado is running about 50 candidates. It's funny how he didn't mention Colorado. <sighs> 6324. Let me take a look. Let me take a look at the Book of Roberts. 6324. Oh no, this is the wrong edition. He's got the 11th here. What is it in the 11th? Okay, I'll just believe you. Okay, everyone. I think that's it. Was there anything else I needed to cover about Massachusetts? My Massachusetts peeps, let me know if there's something that I missed. Did anything else happen? But I can tell you guys how my weekend went. Oh my God. And JJ knows, and Brody knows, I think I slept 24 hours straight. Because this is what I don't sleep the night before I travel. And I traveled. What night did I travel? I don't even remember anymore. So I didn't sleep Thursday night. I slept about 2 hours on Friday night. I slept about 2 hours on Saturday night. I slept about 2 hours on Sunday night. By the time I got home on Monday morning, I was dead. Do you want to know what I was doing? I was writing Massachusetts appeals and attending the Louisiana convention, which was fun. And I've got a few more things to write this weekend. If you're a state chair, you should expect something from me shortly. And they say redoing? I meant doing, not redoing. Oh, rejoining. Okay. I've got something else I need to write. That's very long-winded, has nothing to do with Massachusetts. Okay, page 622, lines 11 through 15. Let me look at this. Mike is sensing a great disturbance in the force as I'm playing with his book. 622 622 has to do with standing convention rules. What are you talking about? I think you got the wrong. So 662. Okay. I was going to say 662. And I will check my messages. 662, 11 through 15. But that doesn't say he could be removed. And that's talking about officers. I'm just talking about a member. It says an accused officer or member must be found guilty of a charge before a penalty can be imposed. So, okay. If the bylaws of the society provide for the imposition of penalties for offenses defined in the bylaws or an adopted code of conduct or similar set of rules. See, so it talks about it being in the bylaws, though. It doesn't say they could just be thrown out. I think it has to be in the bylaws, dude. Okay, well, so that's what I was doing. And what am I going to be doing once I leave this meeting? Did I call it a meeting? Oh my God. Oh, I've been in too many meetings. I already shut it. Yeah, getting lost in it's the weeds, I think, not the reeds. So after tonight, I need to make an agenda or finalize the agenda for a platform committee meeting tomorrow. And Thursday night, there is a town hall for the platform committee. You should be getting an email from the National Party. Please come to the, whatchamacallit? Did I call it? Town hall. If you have any comments or concerns about the platform, we would love to hear from you. Friday, I'm traveling to Maryland. Yay, Maryland. Sunday morning, I will be in Texas just for a little while. For a few hours of their convention, and then I am coming home. Where am I the next week? I'm lost. Where am I the next week? Is the next week Kansas, Ned? Oh my God. Where am I the next week? What's the 8th? Help me out, people. What's the 8th? Is the 8th Kansas? I know the end of the month is Wisconsin. Kansas is 4/23. Am I not going anywhere on the 8th? Am I free? Okay. You guys can take off if you want. Like if you're not interested in my life, like to that granular degree. But I am super, super curious if I actually have a weekend off. And Kansas, I still don't know if I'm going to. Because there are people trying to raise funds for me to go there. Oh, the 8th is this weekend. So the 15th. Wait, hold on. I'm looking at my schedule right now. Okay, hold on. 1 second here. Let me, where's my, okay, I'm going to share my screen here a second. Okay. Baltimore to Washington. Okay. That's page 1. And then, okay, details. Yes, I'm always Southwest. Okay. So I'm going to Baltimore. Then I'm going from Baltimore to Dallas. Okay. Then I'm going from Dallas to Denver. Then there's Milwaukee. I don't have anything that weekend. And then there's Reno. I got Milwaukee and Baltimore. Where's the calendar here, folks? Is there something I should be going to? Kansas is both days. Kansas is the 23rd and the 24th, right, Ned? And I told Massachusetts if I can't make it to Kansas, I would go to Massachusetts. But Kansas had asked me first. This is so weird. How do I have a couple weeks off? This can't be possible. Well, I don't have money to go anywhere else. You know what? I think Alaska was going to be that weekend, and I just didn't have the funds to go to Alaska. So, yeah, I think that was it. Let me go back here. So I do have a couple weekends off. So, yay, I'll be able to get some rest maybe. I did want to go to Alaska. I've been to Alaska before. Alaska's a great affiliate, and I have a lot of friends there. Well, I guess I will let you know, Paul, if for some reason Kansas doesn't come through, but I am planning on being in Kansas. And I don't know, maybe if someone wants to help me get to Alaska, listen, I'll travel every single weekend up through Reno. And I also told Minnesota that I would, the week before Reno, if I could afford it, that I would come up there and help them petition for their ballot access race. But it's all a matter of finances. The spirit is willing, but the wallet is weak type thing. Because they only have 2 weeks to get the 2,000 signatures. I'd be more than happy to go to Minnesota to help them. It's just a matter of getting there. Okay, everyone. I guess that will be it. I am going to go do my platform committee thing. I will check my messages. Please email me, pinkflameofliberty@gmail.com, if you would like to sign the Massachusetts petitions for appeal. Even if you're watching this a couple days from now. This shit's going to be going on for weeks. We will be supplementing signatures as much as we get them. So even if you see this next week, it's not too late. Keep sending signatures. Even though we have the minimum, we want more than the minimum. We want the JC to see that the membership is on our side. And the funny thing is, to sign this first appeal, you don't even have to agree who's right. All you have to agree is that the LNC needs to stop being cowards and being the leaders that they were elected to be. On the second appeal, yeah, you got to be on our side. But on the first appeal, it doesn't matter what side you're on. You just need to agree that the LNC needs to make a decision. This is an appeal everyone in this party should be able to sign on to. All right, everyone, good night. I'm super, super tired, and a lot of you have been with me here all evening, and I truly, truly appreciate it. You all have a good night. Bye-bye.
Gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business, not because